Hello everyone, welcome to an incredibly effective app hack that we'll be discussing today, and that's in-app purchases. Now, a lot of apps use in-app purchases, but most apps are either doing it wrong or they're not using them to their fullest potential. In-app purchases it's a great mechanism, and if used correctly, it can be an incredible driving force for making money in your application. If you use it wrongly or poorly though, you can make a lot of your users unhappy. First and foremost, if you want to be successful with in-app purchases, you'll want to understand a little bit of human nature and psychology. In this lecture, we're going to be talking about all the little things that you can do which will maximize your in-app purchase revenue. We'll also be taking a look at some of the top selling apps that do these things. So let's get started. First, let's talk about what a decoy is. Let's say that we are selling candy instead of apps for a minute. Now we have two sizes here, a small size for $5 and a large size for $9. I know that we're charging $9 for a lollipop, but for the sake of this example, just go along with me on it. We're a premium candy brand here after all. Now, statistically, only selling two of these sizes, 87% of people are going to choose the small size. So if 100 people bought our candy, the result is going to be about $552 that we made. It's not too bad for selling some candy. But suppose we added a third option, a medium size, and we price it at $8.50. Suddenly, things really are going to flip. Now, 74% of people are going to choose the large size because it looks like a fantastic deal. And almost nobody's going to choose the medium size, so about 26% of people will choose the small. Now we do the math, we end up with about $796, and the difference is huge. And all we had to do was add a third option that did nothing else but make our most expensive option look like a screaming deal. Things sell best in threes, so next time you go to get some fast food or go see a movie at the theater, make sure you pay attention to how things are priced, and you'll see the decoy effect everywhere. Now, you ever wonder why you see games that have in-app purchases for $99? I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, who on earth would spend $99 for fake money in a game? Apparently, though, there's some people who do, and these people are called whales. It doesn't sound like a terribly nice thing to call them, but I wasn't the one that came up with it, so don't blame me. Now, on average, less than 2% of your user base will spend money on in-app purchases. And out of that 2%, a tiny fraction of people, the whales, will spend money on in-app purchases that are $10 and above. But, shockingly enough, that small percentage of users that are big spenders account for 47% of your app's revenue. Can you believe that? That tiny fraction of people that are crazy enough to spend $99 in virtual gems will bring you almost half of your revenue. So when you're pricing your in-app purchases, remember to add some upper tier purchases for that small percentage of people that are actually going to buy them. Make sure you feed the whales, because it pays off in a big way. Alright, choose your marketing words wisely when you use in-app purchases. Studies show that 52% of consumers are more likely to enter a store that displays a sell sign. Also, consumers are 60% more likely to buy something if the word guaranteed is used. And of course, everyone loves free stuff. Consumable in-app purchases are they're the number one driving factor for top grossing freemium apps. And it really is a thing of beauty because once the users spend up all their coins or whatever content or currency is being sold as a consumable, they're free to go right out and buy some more. And what this does is it results in a continuous stream of revenue from that person as opposed to the $1 off, the one-off sell that you would get with non-consumables. If it's possible, try to incorporate consumable in-app purchases into your app. Add them in the form of your own currency like coins, gems, gold bars, etc. Be creative, but don't be scummy. Charging your users 100 coins every time they create a page in a note-taking app is scummy and it's going to get you nowhere. We'll be discussing a lot of great appropriate ways to get people to spend money and to spend your currency in this lecture. Now, one fantastic way to do that is to use a Save Me option and to let the user continue after they fail a level in your game, kind of like what you see here in Temple Run. Go ahead and make each successive Save Me option more expensive, like having them pay 2 gems the second time and 4 gems the third time, and putting a time limit on the save so they have to think fast. And you'll see that's going to help bring out the impulsive side of people, especially if they're pretty close to breaking or beating their old score. So using a Save Me option is a great way to help users spend their consumable purchases. Another great way to help them spend them is to use time as a resource. Now if you have a game where characters need energy or crops need time to grow, use that time to your advantage and allow them to speed things up in exchange for your consumable currency. You'll find that not a lot of people like to wait. Be thoughtful and suggest using in-app purchases at the right time. Now, take a close look at this screenshot that you see here. It comes from an app called Blastron. And I'm here on the left. I've just used my last ninja mine trying to destroy Dawnbot there on the right. Now, pay attention to that little prompt that suddenly appears at the top of my screen. Look at that. Without even leaving the current game, I can buy more ninja mines to blast Dawnbot with, and it looks like they're on sale too. This is a powerful way to use in-app purchases. Don't wait for the user to come to your store, go to them instead. Make it dead easy for them to buy something from you. And speaking of your store, make it look amazing. Design it with the utmost detail and think of everything. Your store is a crucial part of your app. If you make it look half-baked or it looks like it was thrown together, you won't get consumer confidence, and that means no buy. Make sure you offer a balanced diet in your store. Keep in mind that your users are going to come from all backgrounds and different walks of life. Plants vs. Zombies, they get that. They understand that some users are going to feel more comfortable buying coins, and some will buy plants, and some are only in it for the upgrades and bundles. By offering a wide selection of items and options in your in-app purchase store, you stand a better chance of creating the most ideal fit for a wide range of your users. Let them sample your content. Paper by 53 allows the user to test their drawing tools before buying. Now take the same approach. Let your users see for themselves how awesome your content is. Make them want to buy it. Also, never underestimate the power of curiosity. Now, if you'd rather not let your users try out an item, try going the other way and making that item seem obscure and mysterious. Show it in an outline or gray it out with something similar to that. You'll find that people will be much more interested in earning or buying that top secret weapon in your game because they really want to know what it does and they want to see what it looks like. And with everything, of course, make sure you're giving people their money's worth. Otherwise, people are going to be very underwhelmed by your secret item, and that's not good. Having a sale or a limited time offer in your app is a great way to get your users' attention. You'll find people are much more likely to buy something if there's a sense of urgency about getting it. So try dropping the price on an in-app purchase in your app for a short time and let your users know about it. It makes a huge difference. We'll be talking more about sales in another lecture here, so stay tuned on that one. Okay, always make your store easy to find. Now, the vast majority of in-app purchases fail in apps because the store is in some obscure place or the developers made it hard for the user to find. Let's take a look at the screenshot from Nightmare Tower here. You can see they've made it possible to go to the store every time the pause button is pressed. Go ahead and do something like this and make sure that your store is in an obvious and easy place to reach. People love chance. Use luck. Nothing is going to make your user happier than feeling like they took a bit of a gamble and they won big. Take a look at the Injustice screenshot here. Now, instead of just outright buying a superhero character, we also got the option of buying a bronze, silver, or gold booster pack. These packs contain a random bronze, silver, or gold character, as well as several power-up cards, and they're also priced considerably lower than the cost of an actual superhero card. Now, this is a gamble. As a user, if I spend 75,000 of my coins, I could end up with a card that I really don't want, like the Joker, but I could also get a Batman or Superman card, and those cost about 220,000 coins. So by taking a slight risk, I could get an awesome card for a lot less than what it really costs. Chance and luck, they're extremely powerful, even addictive to your users, and it's a win-win for you. If your user gets a Batman or a Superman card, they're going to be thrilled and they're most likely going to try it again. A good portion of users who don't get the card, they're still going to probably try it again because 220,000 coins takes a really long time to earn, and hope is a pretty powerful thing. This is really a brilliant strategy for in-app purchases. In fact, it's casino education 101. Now, when it comes to users who just want to buy Batman outright, go ahead and make it as easy for them to do it as possible. What we call this is shortening the funnel. Make the transaction happen in as few clicks as possible. With Batman here, you can see that I don't have enough credits to buy him, but the developers, they could have left it in good faith that I'd exit this screen, find the screen where I can buy more credits, buy credits, come back to Batman, buy Batman. But that would have added a whole lot more clicks, and it would have made our funnel longer, and that lose a sales for them. So they were kind, and they went ahead and put an Add Credits button right there in the bottom right, which makes things a lot easier for me to spend my money. When it comes to your in-app purchases, do everything you can to make it dead easy for your user to buy them. Shorten the funnel. Now, the primary goal of in-app purchases is to make you money, but that's not all they can do. In fact, you'll find that they also make great bribes, awards, incentives, and they work great for getting your user to perform any action that you feel is important. Instead of making them spend money, give them an alternative. For example, you could reward your users with 1,000 gold coins or a free drawing paper pack for doing things like hooking up on Facebook and Twitter, telling their friends about the app, rating your app, creating a user account, sharing something with their friends, joining your mailing list, following you on Facebook and Twitter, or even just using your app regularly. All of the things that I mentioned here are very powerful marketing actions, and some of them will even pay off more for you than the 99 cents the user just would have spent otherwise. Rewarding in-app purchases them in exchange for an action, it's going to make them much more willing to complete that action. Alright, as a side note, you can also use in-app purchases as a daily reward to keep users coming back. This is going to drive your app's engagement and activity levels off the charts. If you happen to be a big brand, consider selling real-world merchandise. Now you can't sell these as in-app purchases, but you can always send them to your website. You can kind of see this is what Plants vs. Zombies has done here. Now, a great deal can be learned about in-app purchases by observing people who are doing it well. If you're serious about building a business model on in-app purchases, I highly recommend downloading each of these apps and seeing exactly what they're doing. These guys are the big winners in the App Store. They're making more money than anyone else. You'll find that a lot of them are using the things that we've discussed here, but chances are you might just find something new that might work for you. Whatever you do for in-app purchases, use data. Use data when you make decisions. You should be using a metric tracking system such as Flurry or any of those other ones to record an event every time your user buys an in-app purchase. Then take that data, measure it, evaluate it, and see what is working for you and what isn't. Remember, data provides the why in marketing, and that's your key to success. For example, use data to determine when you should start making your users need in-app purchases to continue gameplay. Now, keep in mind, almost no one's going to spend money or play your app if they got to start shelling out cash after level 3. With a freemium model, you got to get them hooked on your app first. They need to really want to continue or advance or access those premium features before they're going to spend money in your app. So make sure you're easing your users in slowly and don't jump the gun on in-app purchases. Alright, we've covered a lot of ground in this lecture. In-app purchases are a great app hack, and if you use them correctly, they can be a gold mine for you. I don't expect you to remember or implement everything here, but if you can walk away with a handful of concepts, make them be these next 4 things I'm going to tell you. Make buying your in-app purchases a positive experience for your users. Nobody likes to feel like they got ripped off. When they buy from you, thank them, praise them, but above all else, make sure they feel like they got their money's worth. Your game needs to be fun, and your app needs to be good. Always remember, people aren't going to spend money if they aren't having a good time or if they don't find your product useful. So first and foremost, focus on making a great app. Use data. You just can't afford to be taking shots in the dark and hoping that you hit something. So remember, quantify, measure, evaluate, repeat. Make it easier for your users to spend money. Do everything you can to shorten that funnel. Make it obvious how to spend money in your store. Thank you again. As always, if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you in the comments.